What jurors heard today were tales of appalling physical by Sean Combs as prosecutors portrayed him as a monster who controlled people and plied them with threats, money.
Prince tried to warn us, not just about music ownership, not just about the labels, but about something darker. And now that Diddy's trial is exposing the worst secrets of the industry, everything Prince said suddenly makes sense.
That said, the companies felt otherwise. Of course, they wouldn't change, because if they changed, they wouldn't really exist. And that's kind of the situation we're in right today. They're not going to exist much longer.
Prince knew things about these industry figures, and what he knew could change everything we thought we knew about how he died. And Cat Williams, he might have been the only one listening.
I couldn't initially understand what kept driving him, you know, because it just seemed to me like he was never happy.
For years, people thought Prince was just obsessed with ownership. And yes, he was. He spent decades fighting for his masters, warning artists about record labels, and giving legendary interviews where he called the music industry a slave system. But near the end of his life, Prince's concerns went beyond bad contracts and shady royalty checks. He started pointing fingers at people, not just companies, people. And one of those people, according to multiple sources close to him, was Sean "Diddy" Combs. What had Prince so worried wasn't just Diddy's success or influence. It was who Diddy was aligning with and how those alignments were affecting the structure of the entire music business.
They've been a group. Everybody knows that. They've been aligned. If you stand against them, then they sometimes have a problem.
Around 2015, Diddy was strengthening his ties with Warner Music Group, the same label group Prince had been battling for decades. This wasn't just business beef. Warner had once owned the rights to every piece of music Prince ever made. For years, they refused to give him control over his own name, image, and catalog. It was the reason he started writing "slave" on his face and stopped using his birth name altogether. So when Prince saw Diddy making quiet business deals with the very machine he spent half his life trying to escape, it wasn't just disappointing, it was threatening. According to insiders, Prince believed that Diddy was helping to build a new version of the same machine, one that didn't just control music, but controlled people, with more money, more blackmail, and less accountability.
There's a disintegration going on that we really have to address.
That's where Cat Williams enters the picture. In several interviews, Cat said that Prince warned him personally about both Diddy and Jay-Z. According to Cat, Prince had something big on them. And he wasn't just talking about legal leverage or petty rivalries. He was talking about evidence, footage, names, events, things that, if they ever got out, would destroy careers and reputations overnight. Cat never claimed to have seen the materials, but he spoke about it with a level of seriousness that didn't feel like entertainment. He described Prince as someone who knew too much and had stopped trusting anyone near the end. Cat even claimed that Prince used to record his own events, not for fun, but for protection. He wanted a record of who attended his parties, who was in the room, and who tried to pressure his guests into anything. The theory goes deeper. Some believe that Prince had uncovered a network, one where artists were being lured to private industry events, then filmed and blackmailed into silence or submission. The idea wasn't new. Jaguar Wright, Cat Williams, and even Dave Chappelle had hinted at similar setups. But Prince, with his resources, might have had more than stories. He might have had proof. And just months after pushing back against certain business proposals, including a reported attempt by Roc Nation to obtain full streaming access to his vault, Prince was found dead in an elevator at Paisley Park. Prince's death was ruled an accidental overdose. Fentanyl-laced pills were found in his home. But something didn't add up. In those final years, Prince's behavior shifted dramatically. He implemented strict new security protocols at Paisley Park and became intensely selective about his inner circle. But did any of it help?
It also really concerned me because it made me think that, wow, so you mean you do all these things to take care of yourself and you die so young?
Number his concerns extended beyond personal safety. In his final weeks, Prince had serious conversations with close associates about what he perceived as dangerous elements within the music industry. He spoke candidly about powerful figures and the consequences of challenging them. His particular focus was on controversial industry practices, including exclusive parties where young artists felt pressured to attend to advance their careers. These circumstances raise essential questions. What prompted Prince to fortify his security so drastically? What information made him so concerned about industry practices? And what triggered that final cryptic warning about safety? Cat Williams says he's been holding evidence for years, documenting everything Prince told him, including footage, contracts, and private conversations. In a 2022 interview with Arsenio Hall, Cat revealed that he was inspired by Prince and even spent 5 years as a rapper before moving to comedy. This journey began after meeting Prince at age 12. Cat said this meeting happened in Dayton, Ohio, where Prince was performing. Cat feels like he knew Prince his whole life and saw him as a mentor who boosted his confidence. He credits Prince for his swagger. In true Cat Williams style, he described Prince as a high thinker who was always ahead of the game. While everyone knows Prince was a musical genius, Cat shared how Prince taught him to embrace his uniqueness. According to Cat, Prince's message was, "You can be short, light-skinned, with long hair, and as long as the ladies love you, who cares what others think?"
He was a high thinker and a guy that was always 30 steps ahead of whatever the curve was.
Some fans are connecting the dots between Cat saying Prince was always 30 steps ahead and the cryptic stuff Prince said before he left us. People are throwing around theories that maybe Cat was clued into something Prince knew, something sinister, like folks plotting to take Prince out. You know how Prince was known for dropping cryptic lines, and some believe he might have let Cat in on the scoop. Prince allegedly possessed detailed information about these events that made him increasingly determined to warn other artists about the dangers they faced. The severity of Prince's concerns gained validation when federal investigations began examining allegations of ST-ficking and racketeering connected to these industry gatherings. Prince's warnings carried particular weight due to his specific knowledge of Diddy's business practices and private gatherings. While the exact details remain sealed, the information Prince held made him a potential threat to powerful industry figures. This knowledge may have contributed to his increasing isolation in his final years. Following Prince's death, Diddy's public statement about being heartbroken drew criticism, particularly from Cat Williams, who highlighted how Diddy's actions had consistently worked against Prince's interests. This disconnect between public statements and private dealings exposed deeper issues within the entertainment industry's power structure. The conflict between Prince and Diddy represented a fundamental divide in the music industry between artistic freedom and corporate control.
There's a disintegration going on that we really have to address.
Prince's warnings about Diddy's business practices pointed to troubling aspects of the entertainment world, particularly regarding exclusive gatherings where young artists found themselves vulnerable. These private parties became central to understanding why Prince felt compelled to protect others from the industry's dangerous elements.
So I think that we should address this as a community as to what it's doing to the culture.
While the industry's elite hosted parties that preyed on young talent, Prince created exclusive gatherings called 3121 that became a sanctuary for artists seeking to escape the darker side of fame. What happened behind those doors would expose a deep conflict within the music industry. The 3121 parties provided safe spaces where creativity flourished without exploitation. These invite-only gatherings attracted artists seeking genuine connection and collaboration. Far from the predatory atmosphere of typical industry events, attendees focused purely on artistic expression and mutual support, sharing ideas freely without fear of manipulation. The industry's notorious freak-off parties, particularly those associated with Diddy, operated differently. At these events, young artists faced pressure to participate in illicit activities, with drugs and sexual exploitation becoming common elements. We didn't know this before, but now we do, thanks to the recent allegations on Diddy that has brought concrete evidence to the public.
In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs.
Many felt their careers depended on attending these gatherings, creating a cycle of manipulation. By establishing 3121 as an alternative to exploitation-filled industry parties, Prince challenged the established power structure. Cat Williams later suggested that Prince's creation of these safe spaces made him increasingly dangerous to certain industry figures, as he directly threatened their system of control. As artists shared their experiences at 3121 gatherings, a clearer picture emerged of the industry's darker practices.
He was so good at that, man. So good at like taking a line that maybe people would say and then making it into something that everybody now associates with him, you know.
Prince's understanding of these activities, combined with his influence and independence, positioned him as a potential threat to those who benefited from the existing system. Prince used his influence to warn other artists about certain industry gatherings, protecting younger talent from the exploitation he'd witnessed. Now, with Diddy facing explosive federal charges, including coercion and use of private footage to control others, Prince's warnings sound like prophecy. The story of Prince's death isn't just about one man. It's about two sides of an industry. One built on exploitation, secrecy, and pressure. The other, the one Prince tried to protect, built on ownership, freedom, and independence. When Prince fought to own his name, his music, and his parties, he made enemies. When he refused to let go of his catalog or allow certain people access to his platform, he isolated himself. And when he started warning others, he became dangerous. The counterfeit pills, the missing footage, the fast-closed investigation, the sealed documents. It all adds up to one thing. Prince's story is not over. And the more the Diddy trial exposes what really happens behind closed doors, the more fans are realizing Prince wasn't paranoid. He was prepared. The truth may have been silenced once, but now that Diddy's secrets are unraveling, the rest is catching up. Prince didn't just leave behind music. He left behind a message, and it's finally being heard. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.